Masters, and most importantly, Trevor. Congratulations on doing your icebreaker. So sometimes I wish I could go back and do my icebreaker just so I could get the mints again. But so great job. So I want to start out with some positives. So some of the things that I was really looking out for is any of your strong points. And one of the things that I really liked is you have great projection and confidence and a very strong presence that I think really filled the room. And that's something that's hard to teach. I feel like that's something that you already had coming into it, which is great. I think that you spoke very clearly and audibly, like you were loud, proud, and very articulate, and very minimal filler words, which is great, especially for your very first speech. An awesome job not using notes, by the way. I don't think I've ever seen anybody give an icebreaker standing in the middle of the room without notes, so I think that's awesome. Now, just some areas of opportunity would be, one of the things that we wanted to see in your icebreaker was really getting to know you. And not that we didn't enjoy the story, but we didn't really learn about you, per se, so I would like to get to know you a little bit more. And you clearly knew the material because you weren't using notes, but just be weary of timing. So I know that I was given a tip once to practice my speeches and time myself before coming up here. So that's something you might want to consider. As far as structure, I think you had a funny opening. It all made us laugh in the beginning, which is great. But as far as structuring the speech, one of the things that we wanted to see is the clear beginning, the middle, and the end. So something that I had learned about public speaking is the whole tell them what you're going to tell them, and then tell them, and then tell them what you told them at the end. So that's just something to keep in mind to kind of keep a structure to your speech in the future. And then the one thing also that I might consider for the future as well is just the way that you moved around the room is awesome, but it was almost like we were trying to follow you a little bit too much. I kind of felt like I was watching a hockey book a little bit. So it's good to move around the room, but I would just wait until you finish the point before moving. So once you make that point, then you can move to the other part of the room, but you were doing it in the middle of your sentences, so it was just a tad distracting. But other than that, it was really a phenomenal job, and I can't wait to hear future speeches from you, Trevor. Thanks.
She's no Jim Sims. She's no Jim Sims. But
For our second evaluator, we have Ken.
Good job, Ken.
Our second speaker, Shlomo.
Gentlemen, you asked me this evening, we had a little discussion before, to evaluate this speech from the perspective of a client or an investor who is watching this presentation. Trying to do that, I saw a number of things that I think that you did very well. One of the things that you did was that you got very good audience participation right off the bat. I think that's very important. You need to make that connection to your audience, whoever they may be, quickly. And I think you did that by asking them to raise their hands, those who have ever felt this problem or this issue that you were trying to discuss. Another thing in a pitch of this type is that, remember, this is you are trying to develop this rapport, but you also have to, first of all, point out the big picture to see what the issue is. What is the problem? What is it that your product will take care of for these investors? I think you did that. You set the stage, here's the problem, and here is, and by bringing the audience in, I thought that was, again, very, very good thing to do. I will, however, point out a few things that I think need improvement. First of all, your placement of you two on the side of the lectern, I think is a mistake. What you need to be doing is focusing the attention on the speaker. And I think that your use of the stage could be better, where whoever's speaking moves forward, whoever's not speaking is in the back, and also switching as you switch to bring the attention to that speaker. Another thing that you need to be conscious of is when you are not the speaker, you need to pay rapt attention to the speaker. You don't need to be looking around, because if people look at you, they need to be redirected back to that speaker. So it's something to keep in mind when you're making the pitch. I also know that your presentation will have a lot of slides and that sort of thing, to visuals to be able to help. I think that would help very much in your presentation, because it is an important part of it. One thing I would consider is revamping your statements and simplifying the explanation of what your product does, because I think you lost me at any rate partway through that. I think you need to think about that. And finally, what I would say to you is, this is a sales pitch. Close the sales pitch. There was no call for action, and you need that in. Thank you very much.
It's actually
For our third evaluator, we have Ronit evaluating Leslie.
Leslie, congratulations on your first speech, The Icebreaker, with a very original title, Breaking the Ice. First of all, for those of you new guests and new members, this was definitely one of the better icebreaker I've ever heard in my 2 years of Toastmasters. So congratulations to you. Leslie started off with a poem. I mean, it's obvious that you've spoken to a large audience in the past, and your goal is to improve the content of your speech with your professional life. You started off with excellent body language. You had visual aids, you had great humor, vocal variety, and excellent eye contact. All of the features that we've been learning over the year, over the 10 speeches, you've accomplished today on your icebreaker. So that was phenomenal. I just want to say it again. I mean, really kudos to you. I really enjoyed your storytelling, how you started with yourself as being a 3-year-old and then moving on to your professional career. You told us such an interesting story with a very well-organized manner that I was so engaged in your story that I forgot to take notes. And I really forgot that I was your evaluator. I really did. I was really very impressed with your storytelling. Couple of things I would improve upon is, whenever you were standing behind the lectern, you were swaying side to side. So I want you to watch your video, and that was just a bit distracting, because when you speak to an audience and when you sway, you don't want them to focus on that. Another thing I noticed, which was very minor, you were using your hands probably a little too much. So what I would suggest is use it with meaningful movements. Whenever you have to utilize it, emphasize on it. Otherwise, don't overly use it. Just watch your video and you will see exactly what I mean. Other than that, I mean, this speech was really phenomenal. And like I said before to those new members, most of us stand here with their first speech reading 50% of our notes. But this was definitely one of my favorite icebreakers. So congratulations. I look forward for your next speeches. And one more thing I do want to mention is, Leslie is going to be a professional speaker. She's going to be talking in front of audiences of 500 people plus. Don't be scared of utilizing your career and your future speeches in this environment, like a show Shlomo and most of us do. Practice it. I know it's too long, but break it apart, because on your CC manual, there's different topics like your speech. Number 2 is organize your speech. Maybe give us just bits and pieces of your professional life and use this platform to improve your future speeches.
Good job.